You finally got the promotion. You close the deal. You hit the milestone. And instead of feeling like you've made it, you feel like a fraud waiting to be exposed. Here's the twisted truth nobody talks about. The ladder you're climbing might be the same one crushing your sense of self. And the science behind why this happens will change how you see success forever. Stay with me for the next 7 minutes, because what I'm about to show you explains why your brain is wired to doubt you the moment you level up. This phenomenon has a name: imposter syndrome. Psychologists Pauline Clance and Suzanne Imes first identified it in 1978. But here's what makes it so brutal. It doesn't decrease with achievement. It intensifies. Maya Angelou won 3 Grammys, wrote bestsellers that changed literature, and still said, "I have written 11 books, but each time I think, they're going to find out now, I've run a game on everybody." Think about that. 11 books, multiple awards, and she still felt like a fake. The reason? Your brain operates on something called the internal reference point. Developmental psychology shows us that your self-concept was formed years ago through childhood experiences, early failures, and the voice of your caregivers. That version of you is like an operating system running in the background. But here's where it gets interesting. When your external reality changes faster than your internal identity can update, your brain experiences what cognitive psychologists call self-concept lag. You're literally living in 2 realities: who you were and who you've become, and your mind defaults to the familiar one. Neurologically, your prefrontal cortex is trying to reconcile conflicting information. The result? Cognitive dissonance, anxiety, that sinking feeling that you're playing a role instead of being yourself. Let's go deeper into your brain chemistry. Every time you achieve something, your brain releases dopamine, the neurotransmitter of reward and motivation. It feels incredible for about 48 hours. Then something brutal happens. Dopamine adaptation. Your baseline resets. What once felt like a peak experience becomes your new normal. Neuroscience calls this the hedonic treadmill, and it's why lottery winners return to their baseline happiness within months. But here's the dangerous part. While your dopamine receptors are adapting to success, your stress hormones aren't. Research in neuropsychology shows that high achievers often maintain elevated cortisol levels because the stakes keep rising. You're achieving more, but feeling more threatened. Think about it. When you had nothing to lose, you took risks freely. Now that you have a reputation, a position, resources, you have everything to lose. Your amygdala, the brain's threat detector, is now in overdrive protecting what you built. Existential psychologist Rollo may call this the anxiety of freedom. The more options you have, the more responsibility you bear for choosing correctly. Every decision carries weight. Every success raises expectations. You're not just worried about failure anymore. You're terrified of being exposed as someone who got lucky, not someone who deserves to be here. Combine dopamine adaptation with heightened threat sensitivity, and you get a neurological perfect storm. Success that feels hollow and fragile at the same time. Here's where psychology meets philosophy. Carl Jung, the founder of analytical psychology, distinguished between the persona, the mask we show the world, and the authentic self, who we actually are. The more successful you become, the more you're rewarded for your persona. You shake the right hands. You say the right things. You perform confidence even when you feel uncertain. And it works. People promote the persona. They invest in the persona. They celebrate the persona. But you go home, look in the mirror, and barely recognize who's looking back. Social psychology has documented this extensively. Studies on surface acting, performing emotions you don't actually feel, show it leads to emotional exhaustion and depersonalization. You're literally depleting your psychological resources by maintaining a version of yourself that doesn't match your interior experience. Humanistic psychologist Carl Rogers called this incongruence, the gap between your real self and your ideal self. The bigger that gap, the more psychological distress you experience. And success often widens that gap because the world rewards the ideal version while the real version stays hidden. Attachment theory adds another layer. If you grew up with conditional love, where acceptance was based on achievement rather than simply existing, then success never feels secure. You're not celebrated for being you. You're celebrated for what you produce. remove the production, and the terrifying question emerges: will anyone still care about me? This is why successful people often feel lonelier, not because they lack connections, but because they question which version of themselves people actually love, the achiever or the person beneath the achievements. Now here's where most high achievers trap themselves. They try to outrun the feeling. They think, if I just achieve more, I'll finally feel legitimate. So they work harder, chase bigger goals, stack accomplishments like armor. But behavioral psychology shows us this is a reinforcement trap. You're conditioning yourself to need external validation to feel worthy. The psychology of success reveals a counterintuitive truth. The external markers of success are terrible predictors of internal fulfillment. Research from positive psychology consistently shows that beyond a certain threshold, achievement doesn't correlate with well-being. Autonomy, mastery, purpose, and authentic relationships do. But we ignore this because our culture worships outcomes over process. Social media amplifies this distortion. Everyone posts their highlights, and you compare your behind the scenes to their curated performance. You see their success and think they have it figured out. They see yours and think the same about you. Everyone's faking confidence. Nobody's admitting it. Stoic philosophy offers a powerful reframe here. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men in history, wrote, "It is not the man who is too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." He understood that the insatiable pursuit of more is a form of poverty, a poverty of self-acceptance. Existential psychology pushes even further. Viktor Frankl, who survived the Holocaust, discovered that meaning isn't found in achievement. It's found in how you respond to your circumstances. Your success doesn't define you. Your character, your choices, your capacity to remain authentic under pressure. That's what defines you. The fake feeling you're experiencing isn't a sign that you're a fraud. It's a sign that you're measuring yourself by the wrong metrics. So, how do you bridge the gap between who you are and who you become? First, separate your identity from your achievements. Your worth isn't negotiable based on performance. Neuroscience shows that practices